So maybe we're going back to a different political situation. And where democracy, I don't know, yeah, we will probably still have some kind of democracy, but we will have it seems that now the strong man on the political scene is back. We have Putin in Russia, and we have now Donald Trump, which is actually, trying to become a really strong man, making America great again, whatever that means in his second term. Maybe it means that America should actually also be bigger. And we don't know whether this is his vision or how it will play out. We have to wait and see. In a couple of days, he will be the president of the United States. And then we will see. I mean, what would be his move? It's hard to say. But I think what nobody could have ever imagined is that America would go to war with Europe over Greenland.
Okay.
Because it's going to be really hard for the European countries to defend their stand when it comes to Ukraine and Putin, and then negotiate with Trump and say, okay, Trump can do what Putin did on a much bigger scale. That's okay. I mean, then you are just, a laughing stock. You just can't do that. So they need to stand their ground and say, we cannot allow Donald Trump to get Greenland. And if Trump wants that, maybe there will be such a division within NATO that the whole alliance will fall apart. And then what happens then?
Iben, I have an apology to make. Some of the first minutes that we were talking were not yet live. So you and I were talking in a brilliant way and really going into these matters. And only a couple of minutes ago did people tell me we're leaving the program because we don't see you. And I clicked another button and I went live. So we now have about 30 people watching us. And
okay.
I want to ask you if we could perhaps recapitulate what we just said and do it quickly, and then we'll just go on for another 20 minutes or so. What we said is that Donald Trump the other day spoke of taking over the Panama Canal and Greenland. Greenland is owned by Denmark. You are Danish. You are from Copenhagen. You're right now working and living and writing and studying brilliantly in Budapest, Hungary, which is one of the most interesting countries in Europe. You're speaking to me from Budapest. I'm just been several months in Rome, but I've come back to Virginia, where I have an office, and I'm sitting in that office. We came on this program to talk about the new year, and we use this idea of the coming presidency of Trump and the changes that may bring, and these first remarks that he's made about his global vision to get a kind of perspective on 2025. And you said, and then I asked you, what do you think about Greenland? What do the Danes think about Greenland? And I always mention that I think of you as a Viking. So what your opinions, you're not the president of Denmark, but you have a very profound insight into the Danish people and also the European people in general. So what do you think of what's happening here?
Well, I've been following, of course, the Danish news the last couple of days, and I would say that people are in a state of shock, because nobody could ever have imagined that Donald Trump, he said actually last time he was the president that he wanted to buy Greenland, and everybody thought it was a joke. So nobody really took it seriously. But now the other day when he said that maybe he would even go so far as using military or economic force to control or to obtain control over Greenland, then people really woke up. And the Danish prime minister is in a very, very difficult situation because US is our nearest ally. Denmark, we always has been the lapdog, I would say, of the US. We are doing whatever we are being told by US, and we always want to please US and the US president, the American president. And now she's under pressure because our relationship with Greenland is very complicated. And I would say, I think right now, Denmark has a kind of conflict within our own nation, because normally we have not been very fond of, Greenland. I mean, nobody really cares about Greenland. And we actually have a lot of jokes about Greenlanders, because normally when they come to Denmark, they get very drunk if they start drinking, because Greenlanders, for some reason, within their biology, lacks a kind of enzyme. So it's very hard for them to break down alcohol. So
Well,
they get
that's
really very, very, very drunk. So we have all these jokes about drunken Greenlanders.
oh my goodness.
And we all know that we need a lot of development in Greenland, because things are not good in Greenland. So we don't really care a lot about it. We send a lot of money every year to support the people in Greenland, because we are obliged to do that. But for over a lot of years, a number of years, Greenlanders have been in opposition, and they have had movements which are, really trying to make a political movement for being independent of Denmark. So we have had these tensions for a long time. And, actually the other day, the news media, they asked people in the street if they had ever said jokes about Greenlanders, and everybody admitted that they have. So actually now it has come to the surface that we have this kind of racism in Denmark towards Greenlanders, and we should actually stop doing this. So of course, so our relationship with Greenland is not just really a very tight bonding. It's really not. And I think right now, the political situation in the Arctic Circle has changed a lot because of Russia and the tensions with Russia, which also has its borders up to the Arctic Circle, which is it is an area which is of much interest to the Russians, and they're operating in this area a lot, and so does China. So China is also interested in controlling Greenland. And of course, America won't let that happen. And I actually agree with Donald Trump that Denmark is too small a country now. We don't have the military resources. We don't have the financial resources to protect our interest, or the interest of the West. So it should be a larger country with a better economy and much more political power than Denmark that should take care of it. But on the other hand, I see also some dangerous, things about Trump's imperial dream about, expanding America. But that's another topic. But I think right now Denmark is in shock. Tonight, our prime minister is meeting with all the leaders of the political parties in the parliament to give them a kind of briefing about the situation. And I think they're trying now to reach out to the administration around Trump to find some diplomatic solution. But it's very clear now that, I mean, the Danish people, we are a small nation. We're only 5 million people. And everybody now is coming out saying we should stand together and we should, keep Greenland. And I think it's actually quite funny, because it seems to me that we have some kind of colony masters complex. We don't want to let go of Greenland, even though for many years we have not been very concerned about Greenland. And we have this kind of racism against Greenland. And many Danes these days actually admit that they somehow look down upon the Greenlanders because we think they are underdeveloped, or, that they are a group of people that should, get some help from us. So I think it's quite funny that, Denmark is this